First off, I want to start up by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem HaKadosh. That's all praises to the war God's God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem meaning in the name, Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. Also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful light preachers, word in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Tazabah in the Great Millstone, Arizona camp. Lord will with another video to edify. And hey, Esau holding on to that blessing and prophecy is going forward. Right, more and more videos, more and more information comes out about people chipping themselves to be part of this whole new technological civilization, where you're part of the Internet of Things. Right, let's look that up, man. It says Internet of Things. The Internet of Things describes. Let's go straight to the wiki. The Internet of Things describes physical objects or groups of such objects with sensors, processing ability, software, and other technologies that can connect and exchange data with each other's with other devices and systems over the internet or other communications networks. Internet of Things has been considered a misnomer. Because devices do not need to be connected to the public internet. They only need to be connected to a network and be individually addressable. You see? And that's what this is. Right? He didn't need the internet to be hooked up for him to be able to swipe it. It just had to be something that it was connected on that particular network. Right? The wavelength for that car. And this is all part of the new system that Esau's trying to pull out, which all goes into prophecy. This 2 Ezra 9:1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time when the highest will begin to visit the world which he made. Therefore, right, all these signs are starting to come. So peep it. These are the signs that the Lord said to peep out for. And it connects right back to Matthew 24:6. It says, therefore, when there should be signs in the earth, therefore, when there should be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people, all this has been happening, then shalt thou understand that it is that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning. For like as all that is made in the world hath a beginning and an end. Everything has a beginning and end. And the end is manifest, right? You know when the end is something's coming, right? You watch a movie, you know when the climax is going up. You know when the music starts slowing down after that uptick in the more fast-paced music. You know when the credits start rolling. You understand when something's about to end. People fully understand these things, right? It says, even so the times also the highest have plain beginnings and wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs, right? So this is part of the ending and effects of science. The fact that more and more this stuff is coming into play. More and more people are coming out getting these type of things. More and more is being talked about, going on mainstream media, right? The Lord don't do these things for no reason, right? And many people try to act like this stuff wasn't going to happen, but the Lord said, what? Let the Most High be true. Let me get that. Romans 3:4. It says, God forbid. I got to start up. Romans 3:3. It says, for what if some did not believe? Shall their unbelief make the faith of the Most High without effect? And what is the faith of the Most High? Really, everything that the Lord said. Believe in everything, right? Even the evil times that are about to come. It says, God forbid. Let the Most High be true. but every man a liar, as it is written, that thou mayest be justified in thy sayings and mightest overcome when thou art judged. Because what? We don't speak of our own words, we're speaking the words of the Heavenly Father. So that's what's going to justify us in our sayings. When dudes start going outside of that, that's when what offenses start coming. That's when you start getting put on the scope and shit start coming your way. But when it comes strictly out of the scriptures, you can't say not a damn thing about it. Now, when I say that, and we're talking about this mark of the beast, and I got to get the blue letter for this. And brothers have gone through these scriptures over and over again, but we're going to still put out the message, right? What scriptures tell you, give him no rest until he make Jerusalem a praise in earth, right? So that's your job, is consistently going these things. The Lord didn't flip the script and make new precepts for you in these times, because what he set out for us to have, we have now, right? This is Revelation 13 and 15. It says, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast." That image is actually talking about that system that's coming to play, right? Instead of it being monetary system as it is now, instead of it being a governance system as it is now, where you vote people in, they're gonna go from that to just as Biden said. Biden said when he addressed somebody who was getting inducted into the Supreme Court, he said the day's gonna come where you're gonna rule to see if it's legal and constitutional to put a chip in somebody's body, where it's legal and constitutional if you can predict that somebody's going to commit a crime, if you can convict them. Right? This is part of that new system. It says that the image of the beast shall both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So if you don't bow down and come into that system, that's what they're going to be seeking to do. It says, "And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads." Now, when you go to that word mark, this is where you get the full understanding about really how in depth this whole new system and how it easily links into this whole RFID chipping system, right? Remember, everything, any computer-based system is programmable. It's limitless, really. It just depends on how you want to program it, right? So this is the word for mark in the Greek, and it says charagma, which goes into basically the numbering system, the marking of you, the engraving and cutting into you, right? It says a stamp, an imprinted mark, right? Mark printed upon horses, the engraved sculpture, graven work, right? So that's them etching in those numbers into you, basically that barcode, your own signature, your own ID, right? Now when you go deeper, it goes into the word karax, right? And this is how you understand these things, man. It goes into the word karax because there's a root word for charagma, because charagma is basically a compound, right? And it goes into the root word, which means to sharpen to a point, aching, through the idea of scratching. So when you saw him in this video, when you cut into him, what he used that palisade, right, to get it in there. This is what it's talking about in the scriptures, man. And pretty soon they're gonna sit here. They already started this stuff out with this new ID stuff in Canada, and pretty soon it's gonna go from, okay, you gotta have it on this app, you gotta have it on your phone, to now, you know what, we gotta have it in your body. And there was an article. All right, so this is crazy. Esau is on this shit. All right, so this article that the brother put up, I just took a screenshot out of it so I could look for it later. And it says tech startups are racing to implant computer chips in everyone's brain, and they're close to making the sci-fi wizardry, because this is Esau's witchcraft, a reality, right? So I go on Google, type it in the same way, and everything I try to open up to actually see this is all killing. Look, it says the same thing at at the point of all these links. Right? It says it right there. Tech startup racing to be the first to implement, and I try to open it, and none of these are working. Right? I even tried the Twitter one. None of this shit is working. Is it gonna work? Let's see. Okay, let's see if we can get it on the Business Insider. Oh, here we go. Hey, the Wada Yaba Shimon Shai. First time it's working. All right, so here's the article, right? It says for years, decades, even news accounts in scientific journals have featured videos of humans beings controlling computers with their minds. It says a person, often with some kind of paralysis from either injury or disease, gets a computer chip embedded in their head. Tiny needle-like electrodes plunged into their gloopy folds in it says in wrinkles of their brains. Those electrodes sense the activity in nearby nerve cells, communication among the tens of billions of neurons in the brain, all network together. It's gonna let me read the rest. Look, and it makes you pay for everything else, man. God damn it, man. Esau's a motherfucker, man. And I'm trying to get down to the meat and potatoes, right? But basically, this is what it is, man. Everybody's racing to these things, and they're close to making this stuff a reality. Now, when you go back to what we were getting in the scripts, this is the sure signs, right? So we went into the delivery method, which is that palisated steak, right? Now, when you go to the word for that, it goes into the word grapho, right? Which goes into actual purpose of this system. It goes into the actual application of the system. The application of this whole new world order system is what the World Economic Forum's been saying. You'll own nothing and you'll like it, right? They're going to sit here and quantify everything. This is why they have the whole new green deals. This is why they want to sit here and come out with a carbon foot. This is why they start talking about carbon footprinting. Your carbon footprint about what I think is about 10, maybe 12 years ago, right? Lessening your carbon footprint. Now what? Now they're coming out with ways to track your entire carbon footprint. This is why they talk about from farm to fork. They want to know what everything, how much carbon it took to produce every bit of resource that you consume to fully calculate your carbon footprint. And this is how they do it, right? So when you go into this word grapho, it means to write with reference to the form of the letters. It says to delineate or form letters on a tablet, parchment, paper, or other material. So when you form letters on a letter, what is it? It's making a record. It says to write with reference to the contents of writing, to express in written characters, to commit to writing things not to be forgotten, to write down, record. And that's the purpose of all this technology, is to record access, record what you spent, how you spent it, who you were with, how much you exerted, how much it costs for you to get that, how much you use on a daily, how much you lose in a week, your impact, right? And this is what they're doing, man. This is what they're doing. So this is that system that's coming out, and more stuff is coming out on it, man. More and more stuff, and it's because we're getting real close. We're getting real close to where these devils are going to start doing this, right? This is verse 16, Revelation 13 and 16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man by buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So unless you take this in Esau's world, right, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. You're not going to be able to live. Right? But for brothers in this truth, you're supposed to resist that no matter what, because at the end of the day, we understand that the living comes through the Lord. Right? The Lord is the one who feeds. The Lord is the one who gives money. The Lord is the one who makes rich, the one who makes rich and poor. Right? But these prophecies are coming out because what? We're getting close to the time where this devil's going to come down. Revelation 12 and 12. because he's going to make this amended. It's going to be compulsory, right? You have no choice. Just like he did with the whole jab, you're going to have no choice. He's going to set up legislation and give you no choice. Revelation 12:12 says, therefore rejoice ye heavens, ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil has come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And this is why he's hastening his plans. Why do you think all these tech companies are sitting there willing to sit here and work on something like this? Where do you think they get the funding to hire the people, to do the coding, to sit here and do the research, to try to create the technology to do these things? What they get stipends, they get grants to do this work. Who do you think's paying those stipends and grants? Right? This is part of prophecy, man. And it's speeding up. It's speeding up, and more of these stupid ass people are sitting there down to do these things out of convenience. And they think something so small, it's not. When we tell them that the Lord is against that, they think something so small, because the way people in this world think of sin is like, oh, if it's small, it's not really a sin, right? They think just because it's small, it's not worthy of death. But really, you go to Revelation 14 and 9, it says, and the third angel followed, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into a cup of his indignation. So if you take that mark, you're going to be destroyed. It says, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment shall stand up forever and ever. And they shall have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receive the mark of his name. So that's what it is. Just because this stuff is small doesn't mean it's not going to come with great consequence. It's going to come with just as much consequence as everything else. You're going to be in a bad spot. But for brothers, man, the scriptures tell you, let me get this. This is Revelation 3:10. It says, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I will come quickly. Hold thou fast that which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Right? So for you doing the work of the Lord, he's going to keep you in this hour of temptation, when you have no other choice but to trust in the Lord or take Esau's shit. Right? Where you have no other choice but to be ostracized from the world and to believe in the Lord. The Lord said he's going to keep you in that hour. He's going to make sure he takes care of you. Right? So hold your crown fast, that nobody can take it. Right? Lord willing to edify them and say, call Allah, Yahweh Shemi Shai, by Shem Shalom.